everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and today we are going to discuss houseplant spring prep. So I was on a Zoom call with my patrons the other day and we were just discussing how spring is here, spring is coming at least. And we were just sort of discussing the things that we do to prep for spring or really just like get our plants ready for summer, because now is the time, if your plants have gone into any sort of dormancy, they're going to start waking up again, and it's really, really exciting. I have a couple of tips for you that I created with my patrons, so thank you so much my patrons who came to our Zoom call and put this list together with me. If you would like to come to these Patreon Zoom calls, I have my Patreon linked in the description box all the time, so you can join in my little community over there. We have a lot of fun. The first thing is pruning and propagating. So as we've seen in my most recent plant chores videos, I've been doing some propagating and a little bit of pruning, and the reason that I do this is because sometimes my plants will grow through the winter time and the growth isn't always super impressive. Like a lot of the time it's runners or smaller growth than usual, so I like to just prune off all of that little tiny growth to create fuller plants so that the plant, once it starts, activating its new growth, it'll be bushier and yeah, just not growing off of the stringy bits from the winter growth. And also because the plants are starting to grow again, that's when I like to trim them up for some propagating. So I did some Monstera albo, I did my linearis, doing a couple of different other plants too. So if you want to see propagating and all of that stuff, I show that a lot more in my plant chores video. So just keep an eye out for those. I think for me, it's way more important to have full good looking plants rather than like long stringy plants. So I guess it's up to your style and kind of what you prefer, but if my plants are throwing off runners or they have lots of tiny leaves, especially for like trailing plants, I just prefer to cut it off, and I can propagate it, but oftentimes I just end up tossing it because the leaves are like the size of a quarter. Okay, step 2 for preparing for spring and summer is to start fertilizing again. So oftentimes you can fertilize through the winter. I tend to not do it just because I kind of take winter as my time off with my houseplants because I'm experiencing some seasonal depression and other things. And so fertilizing is not really my top priority. So it oftentimes gets pushed from like, I don't know, December or November. And then I will start doing it again in March when I start watering, like mid-March, let's say. So I use the Tank Super Mix Organic Fertilizer. It's like a powder. So all you have to do is measure out the right amount based on a chart on their website, and you just sprinkle it into the pot, and it's really easy, but there's lots of different ways to fertilize. I have a video on fertilizing your plants if you want to check that out. I'll have it linked up in the cards and in the description box below, so you can go access that to learn how to fertilize your plants. But again, in some of my plant chores videos, I've also showed that, and I think in my upcoming one, I will show you my first fertilizing of the year. I'm super excited, but basically, fertilizer is really important for your houseplants because it gives them that boost of energy that they need, because there is nutrients in your houseplant soil, but it oftentimes gets used up. Fungus gnat. But it oftentimes gets used up within a couple of months, and then after that your plant is just sort of chilling and not getting additional nutrients unless you add it in. So that is why fertilizing is so important, and something that I really think that you shouldn't skip, especially in the growing months like March through November. Those are really, really important times for our houseplants, and as long as you're fertilizing, you should be getting some pretty, hopefully sizable and healthy growth. Now, if I could get a little personal for a moment, rising temps in the spring, which will lead us into summer, also means the rise of something else, and that is a little something called body odor. I don't know if anybody out there has stinky pits, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us do. So I'm really excited to try out Lumi this year. Lumi is a uniquely formulated pH balanced deodorant. It's aluminum free, skin safe, and clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours. Lumi was created by an OBGYN who saw firsthand that BO was being mistreated and misdiagnosed. Our underarms are not the only places on our body that produce odor, so Lumi is actually approved to use all over your body, so you can use it on your armpits, on your feet, on your belly button, on your butt crack, on your vulva, on your thigh folds. And honestly, I'm super excited to try it out on my feet because I am a person who is absolutely plagued by stinky feet. Unlike some deodorants that try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. They have a really great variety of scents. So for this one, we have lavender sage, toasted coconut, which I think that's gonna be my favorite. Fresh alpine and cool cucumber. So if you'd like to control body odor anywhere, you can use the code Becca to get $5 off your starter kit. That is over 40% off, or you can scan the QR code that I've put on the screen here. I also will have this link down in the description box below. And thank you so much, Lumi, for sponsoring this video. If you're like me at all, you might have experienced some plant losses this winter, which is super, super normal. You guys know that I love to normalize houseplant, like realistic houseplant experiences, like losing plants and getting pests and neglecting your plants in the winter a little bit. So, you know, I did lose a lot of plants this winter, and I had a lot of pots just sort of hanging around that still had the soil in it. I mean, I would dump the soil, but then there'd still be like soil like caked on the edges and stuff like that. So what I like to do is take them to the sink, and well, I'll take them to the trash and I'll like wipe it out as much as I can so I'm not having anything big go down the sink. And then I get some just regular dish soap. The Dawn Power Wash has been like a really big favorite of mine, but I'll get some of that. I'll get a scrubber that I have like only for my houseplant stuff, and I just scrub out the pots and make them nice and squeaky clean. This isn't something that you absolutely have to do, but I do find when I'm storing the pots, it just keeps that storage area a lot cleaner because the dry soil is inevitably going to flake off like the edges of the pot and then fall through the drainage hole, which will then get all over your surfaces. So it's more annoying than anything. Like, it's not gonna harm anything, but I just find it nice to have a clean slate when I'm repotting again in the spring and stuff like that. But yeah, also sometimes like there could be bacteria or something in the pot. So if you had a plant that was sick and you're repotting it and you have that pot, I would really suggest washing it out with some dish soap just to get all of that yucky stuff out. And then you can sort of like stack them up and make them look really pretty so that they're all ready for your spring and summer repots. Okay, next up is deep cleaning shelves and windows. This is something that I'm gonna do relatively soon. I'm gonna do a deep clean on the plant room. So I'm gonna like pull up the rug, throw it in the washer because it's a ruggable rug, and I'm going to wash the windows from top to bottom. So my sunroom has really big, like basically floor to ceiling windows in here. That's why the lighting is so good despite it being like very thick cloud cover and raining outside right now. But basically the windows accumulate a lot of like dirt and grime and things like that that prevent the light from coming in as strongly as it could. So if you wash your windows on the inside and the outside, that will help bring in more light for your plants. And I mean, I would even suggest doing that before winter because we're kind of like trying to get all the sun we can get, but it's oftentimes something that I end up doing in the springtime because it's cool, like it's nice and warm outside at that point, and I'm sort of thinking like, oh, what can I clean? What can I get ready for the season? So definitely making sure that you're washing your windows and cleaning your surfaces. So this might be a good time to remove all your plants from your surfaces. Give them a good wipe down. This is really helpful with like pest prevention and just keeping like, I don't know, if there's any like spiders that were hanging around in the winter time, like removing all of their webbing and stuff like that, and just getting a clean slate for the growing season. I just think that's the theme, is like clean slate. We want everything to look nice and feel ready because as the growing season goes on, it might feel kind of chaotic. At least for me, I know that my summers are really, really packed full, especially this summer because I'm having a baby. So I kind of need to think about these things in advance so that I'm prepared and not as stressed about my plant spaces when my baby comes, and also when I'm way busier in the summertime outside at the garden or just like enjoying all of the growth on my houseplants. And lastly, I feel like in this whole clear out mood, I think now's a really good time to think about your plants. And I know that we said that we lost a lot of plants this winter, so maybe you won't need to do this. I think spring is a really great time to do a plant clean out and really take an inventory of your houseplant collection and say, which one of these is really not doing it for me, or which one of these could I live without? Which one of these is just not exciting anymore? And put together some sort of sale or online situation. Maybe there's a plant swap coming up, but just plan on getting rid of some plants. And I actually made a video a couple weeks ago about exiting the plant hobby. And even if you're not exiting the plant hobby, I think it's a great video just to help you get in the mindset of which plants are really sparking joy for me and which ones aren't, and sort of detaching from them and like how to to do that. And I gave some suggestions in that video on how to go about selling them or getting rid of them. So if you want to check that out, I think it's super valuable information if you're interested. But yeah, putting together some sort of plant sale or donating, things like that, I think is really important to look through your plants. Well, not only your plants, but your plant supplies. So what did you not even use last year? Because I know if you're like me, I will end up buying plant supplies because I think I'm gonna use it, or it sounded cool, or I heard about it from someone and I didn't end up using it. And if I didn't use it last year, would I use it this year? Probably not. So I kind of go through things and look at that too and decide what I need to keep. And on that note, if you're starting seeds or doing anything like that, make sure that you're going through and organizing and like making sure that your seeds are still good, they're not moldy. If you had any seeds in particular that you really liked last year, making sure that you have enough still to plant again, or if you need to rebuy that seed. I'm going through the process of that pretty soon. And I wanted to tell you guys that this is like a miniature announcement, but my garden videos are actually going to be moving to my vlog channel because I want this channel to be like houseplants only. You know what I mean? I feel like my garden videos are super fun, but it's a little bit off topic and they're not as popular. And I'd rather direct that to my vlog channel. So if you are liking the vlogs, my garden vlogs and things like that, it'll be the same exact videos, just they will reside on my vlog channel. I'm kind of reworking things a little bit behind the scenes, so I hope that you will bear with me as I figure out my, I don't know, the next year of my life. Having a baby is really throwing a wrench in things in a good way, but with that, you kind of have to rearrange a little bit. And so for me, that's one of the things that I'm rearranging. So anyway, I hope that you got some fun inspiration and tips for this spring. I can't tell you, I say it like all through March, I feel like a broken record talking about how excited I am for spring, but truly winter is very special, and I'm not going to complain that I now live in a place with winter, but I will complain that it is going on for so long because I just want spring. I'm super excited to see all of the trees come back and all of the beautiful bulbs and flowers and wildflowers and just like all the things that happen around me when spring occurs. It's really exciting to watch, and I'm just super happy to live in a place where I can experience these like ebbs and flows of seasons. It's something that I wanted for so long, and I really need to be better about being grateful for it. We can mindfully let go of winter and happily enter spring with some of these tips. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope that you enjoyed. And if you're not already, make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that you never miss an upload. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.